We're going to get it fresh from Kwang's. Yeah.
Something I realized when we're doing the exercise regarding being in a caring environment, and I noticed that I feel a little deprived myself because being a healthcare practitioner, I'm like always giving. I have 3 dogs, and it's like, wow, I haven't taken care of myself enough. I hadn't receiving that, and throughout my life, I've always been on the lower end of it. Maybe low self-esteem. I don't deserve that type of caring
Can
environment.
you speak a little louder?
Well,
or raise the volume a little bit?
slower.
Slower, louder.
And through my life, I can see that pattern of caring for other people more than myself, type of thing. And I know this, but I kind of see it a little more clearly now that we did this exercise. And I see the differences. Me taking care of other people way more than I take care of myself.
Uh-huh.
So
How does that impact you?
I was just kind of shocked, really.
Shock. Oh.
Yeah, I was like, wow, I need to, work on this more to get a little more balance in
So
that.
just maybe something I'll share. I suspect that you have been probably at least 5 retreats and or teachings where I personally have said that we notice that people in our community are really good at giving care, but it's really hard to receive care. And I only say this because it's really hard to even hear that. Even when you have heard it, you can't hear it. And so
Yes.
somehow today, in this context, in this exercise, it reached a new level, which is beautiful. And I really appreciate your willingness to share it. And it speaks to what I said earlier, that new wine in old bottles, sometimes the old bottles just overpower. It's really hard to hear new information.
Yeah.
And I just so appreciate you're willing to share that, hey, this really struck me today. But I really want to share. You've heard this before. And it's
many times.
We're all like that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like all of a sudden a light bulb goes off and it's like, oh, things really are impermanent. I mean, and there are so many levels at which that can really impact us. So I appreciate you sharing so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just to add to that, when I heard you use the word shocked, I was like, go Kwang. Because that means, shock is a...
Strong word,
I could
yeah.
ask you what you meant by shocked. You didn't say, oh, I got this idea. At least what I understood from that was like,
I was like, oh my God.
came alive
Yeah,
for
that's
you.
so strong. And I was like, and then when she kept repeating the question again, I was
Yeah.
like, wow, okay. This is, big for me, so.
So how far into the 7 minutes would you say it
Was
was,
it with
when you
halfway.
this was the loop, what?
Was it the looping or was it the 7-minute question?
I think it was the second 7-minute question.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right in the middle of it, I started coming about. I kind of went around, and then eventually it got a little
Yeah,
deeper.
yeah.
And, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
a lovely example of something truly penetrating. We are all, in a way, defended, which just means we're kind of invested in doing things the way we do them.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to let new information in. We all are that way.
Yes.
All. Me, all of us. So it's just, we're trying to, we realize that we do have a number of people on YouTube, and I don't even know how to say it. It's just these exercises are incredibly productive and generative of personal change. And I'm assuming the people on YouTube were not doing these. And it's really a very, very unfortunate something. And I'm making an advertisement moving forward that even if people prefer to be on YouTube, mostly when we do exercises, that the YouTubers go on to Zoom. It really is a shortchanging of yourselves, which I'm just sad about.
And what you would get out of this practice is in no way indicated by how much you feel you don't need it or don't want to do it. I say that from my experience. I was not interested in these kinds of practices until I did them and found how amazingly powerful they are. So really just backing up what Harvey says, try it. Even if you've done it once or twice and the process is iterative. It's like what, it's because Kwang did all this for all these years that poof, suddenly there's something. And that's why our practices, we repeat them over and over and over again. Because that's the kind of beings we are. We have these layers, and it takes a while for them to open. And anybody who's been practicing a long time, I think, knows that. So consider yourselves really encouraged to do these. And you can still do them, If you know each other, you can contact somebody and do the exercise outside of the retreat.
Anybody online want to raise their hands and say something? Simon. Can we get Simon unmuted?
Am I unmuted?
Hi.
You are
Yes,
unmuted.
You are. Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
So I was a little familiar with how this works because I've tuned in on Tuesday nights, and often we do exercises like this. And I was struck anew, in a conventional social situation, if I met someone, I don't know how many times or how many encounters it would take for me to be responsive to them in any really genuine way, or to grow to care for them in any genuine way. And this is kind of like it speeds it up in a way that it's hard to describe. So I just spent 20 minutes in dialogue with someone who I now feel like I know and who I feel known by and whom I now care about. So the circle of my concern has expanded by one more person, which is, that's rare. That doesn't typically happen in conventional. So apart from, the substance of what my responses might have been to the questions, I'm aware of, I know this person now. Now I look forward to seeing him again. I want things to go well for him. It is pretty magical.
Well, I am so amazingly touched by what you are saying. And I think that, we all in our modern culture are, I'll speak for myself. I mean, I have a long history of being an isolate. And, I don't know that anybody would accuse me of being gregarious, but I think that we all do benefit from contact and even mild forms of connection, mild forms of intimacy as we're experiencing here, more mild forms of just getting to know one another. It's just so significant and important for our social and spiritual health. I mean, Sangha is really significant. And that just doesn't mean that we have, 80 people vertically meditating independently next to one another, but where there's actually some connection. It's lovely to hear what you're saying, Simon. Thank you so much.
And that's exactly what this practice of the Guru, of connecting with the Guru, is all about, that kind of contactfulness. So to be able to feel it with, a friend, a Sangha member, definitely ripens our possibility for the path. And it's another example of how attention is the start of love. When you pay attention to someone, there is a connection that develops, which you described so beautifully.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry, Sally?
Sally Moore. Sally?
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
And thank you always for the teachings and the time together. I found this exercise to help me think through, what does it really mean to stand on my own 2 feet, and why have I been so strong about that in my life? And I realized that, receiving care from others has a lot to do with being able to stand on my own 2 feet, but that the arrogance of that can be really tied to not receiving care from others. And so that when I do that, I realize I really give a chance to build trust with others and to build a relationship. And it's also true about my relationship with the Dharma. And I thought, I really need the Sangha, because there are so many times when I don't know if I'm standing on my own 2 feet with the Dharma. I'm just so new in so many ways. And I think it's part of what I struggle with in terms of always being very independent, to be willing to ask questions, to be willing to not really know what I'm doing or why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I started to go into those areas, as we talked about this with relationships with people. It's also a relationship with the Dharma and with Guru Yoga, and to accept care, to just imagine the kind of love that Guru Yoga must give. I mean, it's just, and to think about when have I really extended that to anybody else, and when have I seen somebody with that much love, that much all-encompassing love. I just find it extraordinary to touch on those areas. So I appreciate the exercise very much, and echo Simon's and others' comments about how helpful it is to be in a Sangha to do that, because I think I would miss the big picture. I would be caught up in mechanics and am I doing it right or not, rather than just the love of this practice.
Well, I appreciate everything you say, and one thing that you said in terms of not knowing, it's not knowing is actually a humongous gateway if we can tolerate it. And again, our educational system, it slams us for not knowing. And really, really, in terms of Dharma practice, one of the most fruitful places we can arrive at is a certain kind of not knowing. Ultimately, our minds are not going to know the nature of our minds. And so it's, in a way, the most profound not knowing. And our minds don't like that. Our minds rebel against resting. And so I think it's important to even reflect on our relationship to not knowing, and how much shame or self-blame or self-criticism we may feel. And it's down to the proverbial, I don't know how to get to Jane's house. And Ann says, well, why don't you stop at the gas station and ask? Well, who's going to stop at the gas? I mean, this is the, especially guys don't want to stop at the gas station and ask for directions. But it pervades into our Dharma practice deeply. So I really appreciate your sharing that. Thank you.
Anyone in the room?
Someone in the room want
Anyone
to
in
share
the room?
something? Stacy.
Stacy.
I like that both questions were positive. I think the thing that we are valuing in this community is being, in this particular circumstances, being cared for by others. But I kind of started exploring the idea of standing on my own 2 feet, which, for a woman these days is an important skill to learn. And you can feel confident and proud.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking that accepting care instills a certain kind of confidence as well. And I've been in a position where I've had to ask for more help at this point in my life than I ever have before, having a child, and I feel what it draws in. I think so much of the time it feels like coming from a point of weakness, in our culture. But just somehow, as I was answering the question over and over, it started to feel like more strength, because it felt I could feel the connection, and I could feel the love that would be generated by that, and how that's actually, and how it maybe is not a very accepted form of interaction in our community, in our culture these days. So it's scary sometimes, But when I have had the chance to ask someone new for help, it does make a connection in a very different way, and it leaves me with a feeling of community, which is a different kind of strength too.
Yeah. So I really appreciate so much what you're saying for a few reasons. One is it clearly reflects that these questions are completely idiosyncratic in the way any one person is going to hear them. We could hear positives, we could hear negatives, but even in the process of going through the question, you can see some change where the perspective changes from, well, when I first started, it was sort of feeling this way, but as I was going through, it sort of developed this way. It's just a reflection of ourselves. And maybe it's important to say this, that in our culture, what's really helpful is if each of us as a unique individual is supported as a unique individual. And this is a form of social and emotional support and interaction that may not be valued quite the same way in Asia, but we really, really thrive on and do well and are spiritually nourished by just being able to find out who we are. And then we can move from there. And so this kind of practice really is really supportive in this culture and provides something that I think we all benefit from. It's a great context for Dharma practice.
It's also very interesting to look into the way in which allowing connection and having connection is actually a source of strength. You know, that you raise that, feel is very much of the moment, really also. And I don't know if you remember Carol Gilligan's work way back in A Different Voice, that her research, which some people have disagreed with, but it was really a milestone, which, you know, women work with connection. That is what it makes us strong, and it's not just women. You know, it's another mode of human activity that most cultures actually find strength in. You know, the broader family system, and we have nuclear family, so it's a big issue. And when something like the coronavirus comes in, you know, we're not going to get anywhere standing on our own 2 feet. And there are many issues like that, taking care of the environment. You can't do that as an individual. We have to do it through connection. And it seems like a very, very powerful insight. It's very relevant to what's going on in the wider sphere also.
I feel like I'm glad about this retreat because Guru Yoga has always been more challenging to me, and I'm trying to figure out what the resistance is. And I think that's part of it. I think it's partly the sense of abandon, or, you know, giving up that self-reliance and freedom, you know, really, really asking for help from a teacher. And, you know, even if it's such a pure relationship and such a safe one, you know, it's interesting that it still feels that way, but I think this will help.
Yeah.
What a great insight.
Yeah.
What a great insight. And maybe I'm just thinking of my childhood and no, Ma, don't. Maybe a difference is that you are standing on your feet and choosing when and who to ask for help. And maybe, at least I think of my own, the part of my resistance is, you know, help was just swarming in and overpowering. Leave me alone, right? Because I had no choice. So just what I'm hearing you and learning from what you just said is that I think the part of the strength may come from, but now I'm choosing. It's not being imposed. You're deciding you need it, and you're moving from your own truth and asking for it. Does that sound right? That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, it does. It makes me think of the idea that I really am meeting myself, and that's what the practice is about.
Yeah.
More than that kind of subject-object kind of, you know, the way we see dualistically usually.
Yay. Thank you.
Lovely.
Anybody else? Richard?
You know, it just occurred to me this duality of standing on your own 2 feet and being willing to be cared for totally resonates with my experience of parenthood to 2 boys, one of which was very quick to ask for help, and the other one which never asked for help and always wanted to stand on his own 2 feet and do everything, like from the moment he was learning to walk. I mean, you know, the most of the time kids will hang on to your hands while you walk them, not him. He wouldn't do it. You know, so it's just really interesting to contemplate that, because I had that experience of both of them, and then again how that reflects in my own life about independence and not. I mean, my one of my answers for the willing to be cared for is that it's actually a more natural way of being, but yet, standing on your own 2 feet, who really wants to be a burden to others and feel like they're a burden to others. And that's, that's such a deep cultural conditioning, as you've said. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
It's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and for using the opportunity. And I'll just check in one more time online. Is there anybody who wants to say something? Petra? You're
You're
muted.
still muted, Petra.
Hold on. We need to give you some help with muting.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So I just got the idea. Maybe I should say something also like in favor of standing on one's own feet, because I just got the impression at this moment it's getting like a bit one-sided. So sometimes it can be really important, at least I feel like that in my life, really important to have a good degree of autonomy and not being dragged along by the crowd in a bad direction.
Yeah.
And I think especially for us as practitioners in this environment where we live, it's really relevant, that we are not too much dependent on everything that's around us, and that we are also able to go against the stream. Thank you.
Yeah, so
Thank you.
it's lovely. Again, everyone is going to bring their own unique perspective and history and culture, and what you're saying makes so much sense, and it's a very, very important perspective that I'm so glad you were willing to share it. It's very much the case. Yeah.
So it seems like perhaps the optimum is not to be caught in either paradigm, and being ready to stand on your own 2 feet when that's needed, when that makes sense, and being ready to ask for help when that's needed. And most of us are, there's this very beautiful, wonderful word in Tibetan, which I know, rime, which, as you know, it often gets translated as non-sectarian, but it really means unbiased, not falling to any extreme. And as I think you also know, Longchen uses it quite a bit as a way of describing reality. Reality is everywhere. So for us, maybe, yes, of course sometimes it's essential to stand on your own 2 feet. I'm glad you brought that up. Sometimes it's really essential to ask for help. And our greatest freedom comes from being able to do whichever one is called for in the moment. And most of us don't do that so easily because we have a track. We're not rime, we're not untilted.
Yeah. So we are arriving at a moment where we just want to very quickly say something about what's coming up and what's come before. In May, we're going to be doing 2 retreats. One will be a Yeshe Tsogel, what is it about?
Ngondro, Dakini Ngondro.
It's the
It's a practice.
Yeshe Tsogel Foundational Practice, which will be a practice retreat. I think it's about 4.5 days. And it's for those who've already done the Yeshe Tsogel, or if people can take that online before that
The
retreat.
2018 Yeshe Tsogel.
2018. Isn't it also 2017?
No, 2017 was the 7 trainings.
Okay, 2018 Yeshe Tsogel. And we're going to then have a 2-day work retreat on the Skylit Temple, and then we're going to have a 7-day retreat on the dark, fierce Dakini, Terma Nakmo, which is a treasure text revealed by Adzom Rinpoche. It is a je, or a severance practice. It is a severance within the context of Dzogchen. There are many, many severance practices, but not every severance practice is a Dzogchen practice per se. And the way he received this treasure and the way he's taught it is completely contextualized in a Dzogchen perspective. And so people who have been accepted to the a la carte program, and people who are accepted in the Dzogchen Cycles program, for some, almost everyone, it seems appropriate. If you're very, very new and you have some questions as to whether it's appropriate, you can certainly be in contact with us. But we want people to know we feel it's a very, very special opportunity, one, to do the practice of Yeshe Tsogel in a concerted manner. It's so many blessings in that particular foundational practice.
Bless you.
In terms of bringing forward hints and glimpses of our true nature. And then the severance practice is similarly powerful in terms of its capacity and the way that Rinpoche has taught it. So we just want to call this to mind. We know it's a big investment of time for people, but we think it's very, very valuable and want to recommend
If it's
it.
appropriate for you, which we can discuss with you, we do think it's invaluable. Both of these, the Yeshe Tsogel practice, which is actually formally called a Dakini Ngondro, and the Truma practice are both from Rinpoche's tear cycle, his treasure cycle, the Losar Nyingthig. So you know, we have the Longchen Nyingthig, we have the Khandro Nyingthig, we have the Bima Nyingthig. Nyingthig is a big word in Dzogchen in Tibet, and we ourselves are the community of the Dzogchen Nyingthig. So that means we are interested in different practices from the Nyingthig traditions. Our whole program, which we have taken to calling Dzogchen Cycles, its inner name is Dzogchen Nyingthig, and we particularly asked Rinpoche about using that title for the program because we are drawing from these tear. The Yeshe Tsogel practice, I think, is going to be one of our ongoing flagship practices. It's just so amazing. So if you have and feel like you have an affinity for it, talk to us, and we'll encourage you to, take the retreat before the May, so you have had the teachings on it, and then we'll practice it. We felt that it would be, I felt it would be amazing and marvelous in the same retreat period to have a peaceful Dakini from the Losar Nyingthig and then a fierce one. There's obviously a connection. She's white, she's black. I mean, there's a conversation there, there's a dialogue there. And as we often talk about, but I'll just say one thing about it now, sometimes people say, why are there so many practices? And you can, nobody's forced to take them all. But there's a reason why there's so many practices. Because we ourselves are multifaceted. And certain practices will hit us in certain ways that another practice won't, or at a different time. It's like you don't just have one friend. You have, most of us need a few people that we can, try out our ideas on, try out our personality on, see what works. So we're very honored, very excited, very tremulous, because it's kind of a big thing to do, but we have Rinpoche's blessings. He has over and over. He actually told us, I wouldn't have dreamed of asking him to put this in our curriculum actually, but the first time we talked about Dzogchen cycles and told him what we hope to do, and he said, and? Okay. So, bless you. So we trust that blessing, we trust that support, and yeah.
So these retreats are like spiritual booster shots. You know, we may recommend that you at least do the mantra and the visualization, not necessarily recite the whole text after you've done the retreat, but being able to be for 4.5 days or for 7 days together and practice. My own experience is that typically, I call it a kind of my baseline of practice of where I kind of can go back to, just a metaphor, moves up a little bit in any retreat. And it just allows your ongoing practice to be at a higher level, even if you're not taking that practice as your
daily practice.
As your daily practice. I mean, the other thing I thought of, you know, we don't just take one vitamin. I mean, most of us, if we're into vitamins, you know, like we take 12 different vitamins. And, you know, we're not saying any one of them is better than the other. It's just we have, as Anne said, we have different facets. And, you know, Quakerism is a great path. It's very simple. It's one simple thing. You go and you sit quietly. It's lovely. It's lovely. Rinpoche is a dynamic treasure revealer. He is, as I've said, many of you have heard this now, I mean, he is in the present moment, a historical figure already who is tied in some profound way to these treasures of Guru Rinpoche. He's delivering them. As they're delivered, they are considered most potent, and he is letting us know that he would like his students to be exposed to a variety of these treasures. We have found that following his advice helps, and so we're sharing that with you all. That's pretty much how it works. He hasn't said, you know, I want you all to find one practice and just keep doing it. He could, but he hasn't.
He really hasn't.
And we know there are teachings, you know, that he hasn't even really encouraged yet. And so it's, you know, there are beings that we read about, Jigme Lingpa, Longchen, but he's kind of, it's coming that way. It's just, his corpus is already huge, and it's quite amazing to be around that kind of spiritual dynamism. So we want you to be aware of it. We also do want to mention that for some of you, this practice that we did today by way of the dyad, in the beginning of the month on February 1st, we did a program called the Discovery Process. And
that was a one-day
thing. And if you want to really learn more about dyads and self-exploration, we would encourage you to do it, but we would encourage you to do it with a partner, because it's really important to do the dyadic exercise, and we'll probably be doing more of that in the future.
You can either ask a friend if they're willing to do it with you. Possibly you can consult Emily, who will likely be the one who knows if there are a couple of people who said that they were going to take it after the fact, and they've already been matched up. So we'll help you find a partner, or you can ask somebody you're already connected with.
So late breaking news, as is a bit peculiar to us, we realized that we had said, we might meet from 7 to 9. It was listed as optional.
Apparently it's not even listed as optional.
It's not even listed as optional. It's part of the retreat. So we will meet Central Time. I know European friends.
I think it's only a surprise to us.
It's not workable. Probably, although sometimes we have people in Europe who like to stay up.
No, but he's our great all-nighter isn't here.
He's not here this time. We will be meeting and practicing from 7. I don't know that we'll go all the way to 9, frankly. We'll do some practice at 7. We will have Ngondro tomorrow morning at what time?
9.
9 a.m. Central Time.
What? Can we do it at 9? Because we're doing the Jigme Lingpa. You're going to be here, no? Or is I don't mean to
Emily
put you on
is
the spot.
Emily.
We're having to rely on Emily both to stay up late and to get here early.
Oh,
She
okay.
refuses to let me to come to her apartment for good reason. But
I'm sorry. I had thought Gary was going to be here at 8. That's
No,
why
no.
I said that. I know, but we usually do a different Ngondro.
No.
No. It might take longer to do the Ngondro because I'm going to suggest people do the Guru Yoga from the Jigme Lingpa, which is longer. But not if it's not workable for you. So you're not coming at 8, Gary, after all? I see. So is that okay?
Nine.
It's really
nine.
okay. I'll double check with you again in private, but for now it'll be 9. And Stacy, our visiting Sangha member, has agreed to lead it. And you will, I agree to help her because she was hoping for that, right? She asked for. And I will suggest that you do Azum Rinpoche's Ngondro that you usually do, and then move over. We will do the Ngondro tonight, so it won't be the first time.
The Guru Yoga.
The Guru Yoga, do the Guru Yoga of Jigme Lingpa. The chantable one. Yeah, okay. Everything. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think it'll work if you start at 9.
And
Thank you.
with that, unless there are burning questions, we will take a break for about 15 minutes. We'll be back at about 5 Central Time. Break until 5 Central Time.
And then we'll have a break at 5:30 for dinner.
And there'll be a break at 5:30
And
for
come back
dinner.
at 7. Yes, sir. Yeah.
How many days? What?
No.
May 1 to 6?
Yeah, but it starts in the evening and ends in the morning.
So it
It
starts
should
on the
be Friday till Monday.
No. It starts
Friday to
starts-
Wednesday.
starts on May 1st evening and ends on Wednesday morning. Okay.
So it's second,
Saturday,
third,
Sunday,
fourth,
Monday,
3
Tuesday.
full days and a half before and after.
4. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a work retreat Wednesday and Thursday and Friday morning, and then Friday evening will be the long Trema will
That'll
start.
be a week-long retreat, the Trema retreat.
It's on the website. Any questions,
He's
contact
looking,
us.
He's looking at the website.
people will stay on the same link because we don't have another link for them to go to. So just
For
stay on
tonight, you mean?
For tonight,
Okay.
right now.
for right now, you two people, please stay on the same link. We do not have a new link. And what? Paul?
And will they stay
What?
on the same link for tonight?
No, they have a link.
Okay, great.
Just this one link.
Paul, you have a question?
Well, yeah, I heard Ann, I think, say that Ajahn Rinpoche hasn't been here for a long time.
That's
But I
correct.
believe he's coming in the summer, isn't he?
We don't know. He's not coming.
think
No,
this
he's
summer.
not coming in any identifiable future time.
Oh, really? I thought he was going to be there and at
No.
the place in Colorado. What's her name?
No.
You're thinking of somebody else. Azum Gelse. That's a different
Yes.
person. We're talking about Azum Pelo.
Adzom
different
Palo
Pesum.
Rinpoche, who is our
Oh, you mean there's two Azums?
Yes, there are two
That's
Azums.
There's an
confusing.
Adzom
God.
Palo and
Okay.
Adzom Gelse. Adzom Gelse will
Azum
go
Gelse
to
will come.
will
Yes,
go
he
to
is coming.
Taramandala. Adzom
Also
Palo
to
Rinpoche
Colorado,
is not
to
coming.
New Mexico, I believe.
He's not traveling. Thank you for clarifying that.
So, as we're in the process of learning, I will propose that, if you agree, we will start singing. We have had the experience of going through and becoming Yeshit Sogel Dechen Gelbo, the greatest queen, in the vast expanse of luminosity that is the copper-colored home of Guru Rinpoche. We have, and we can now again refresh our sense of There you are. You are Yeshe Tsogel. You are red. You are streaming with passionate compassion. And Guru Rinpoche is before you. The text says he's at the crown of your head, but our teachers have also said that if it's easier, you can feel that he is in front of you. And we have imagined that. We have felt into what it feels like to be in the presence of Guru Rinpoche. And I'm going to propose that we take a moment to go back to that experience, and particularly feeling that you are gazing directly into the eyes of Guru Rinpoche, the embodiment of all awakened beings, whose very essence is your own teacher or teachers. And you gaze into his eyes as Yeshe Tsogel. He gazes into your eyes as the embodiment of all awakened presence. And we have already invited him. Maybe refresh your sense. Actual Guru Rinpoche now descends and is one with your image. Your sensed presence of Guru Rinpoche is now blessed by the actual presence of Guru Rinpoche. Blessed also by the entire lineage of teachers to whom we will shortly offer a prayer. We have mentally gone through the 7-branch offering. We've bowed down, we have offered, we have confessed, we have requested Guru Rinpoche to remain, to teach. We've dedicated that merit into the Dharmakaya light. And so here we are, calling on the Lama. From the depths of our heart, you might take a moment to feel again the tremendous support and therefore relaxation in your own heart, relaxed, open, gazing at someone who inspires you, who gazes on you with total acceptance and love. Let's begin our singing with the Calling the Lama, really the heart song of the practice. It starts on page 72 of the book, and it starts on 30 of the practice text that you have. I'm going to suggest that we will sing each section through and then give you a minute or two just to rest in that, see what you feel. If you have questions, make a mental note. There'll be time to discuss. We won't discuss now. We'll just give you time. You can read it over, feel into it in your own way. This is how we learn. This is how we deepen. So, from your heart as Yeshe Tsogel, red, Guru Rinpoche gazing on you, calling to Guru Rinpoche, calling to your own teacher, ultimately calling to your own nature. Please, we say. Jetsun Guru Rinpoche, in you wondrously are one. All Buddha's love and blessings, sole protector of us all. Body, goods, mind, heart, and breast, I offer to you freely. Please heed all my highs and lows, from now till enlightenment. Great Jetsun Lotus-born One.
You want to do the mantra here?
Yeah.
It says to do the mantra.
You are on page 30. book is on page 71. We'll sing the mantra. Can also reread it as we sing, and we give some silence for you to just be with this verse. Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om. With no other place of hope in the dregs of time I now sink in swamps unbearable. From this save me, great Guru. Grant the four wrongs, blessed one, spark my knowing, loving one, bend both barriers, powerful one. Om Ahom Benza Guru Pema Siddhi. Om Ahom. Om Ahom Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om. Praying from my heart center, not just mouthings, not just words. Bless me from your heart expanse, fulfill my aspiration. Om Ahom Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi.
Different.
Is it?
It's not here.
It's here. Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi. Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om. Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi. Om Ya Om Benza Guru Pema Siddhi Om.
Verse is missing.
Yahom Benza Guru Pedma Siddhi. That's
Hmm?
Jigme Lingpa himself is infused and informed with the blessings of the entire lineage, which also explores for us how the lineage came to be from reality itself, Gundusangbo, as the Dharmakaya giving forth the bright form of Vajrasattva as the Sambhogakaya, finally the Nirmanakaya. So we'll sing this through. We'll talk a little bit more about it later or tomorrow. Imaho, from lands unmarked by size or setting, you first Buddha, true form Kundusang, rich form waters, moons lay Dorje Sem, complete Tulku form Garup Dorje. Please your blessings and empowerment. The three kayas, the three bodies. History is here, blessings are here. In the Tibetan tradition, they come together. Treasure of the teaching, Sri Singha, 9 vehicles, King Jambel Shenyan, Yana Sutra, Pension, Bimala, please show the path to liberation. Soul Jambu, world jewel, lotus is born, your heart's children, king, student, and friend, sign and treasure giver, Longchen Nyingthig, Ngondro, word wealth holder, Jigme Ling, please grant me the fruit liberation. Learned and practiced Gunsang Shen Pen Pel, lotus in your hand, Gyalwei Nyugu, real Manjrish Kimbo Pema, please let my true nature show its face. And as well profine clear lights Nyingthig, I pray you Dong Akling great chariot, and my kind unequaled Ruth Lama, may both needs be just like that fulfilled. Secrets brave Lord Kunsang Shen Pen Pel, real Chen Rezi Gyalwei Nyugu, and Eye of Dharma Chime Lodra Yu, 7-worded Dorje Jiji Tsel, may both needs spontaneously complete. Rigzin Vajra, tamer of beings, your may Dorje Chime Yel, Chaitsun Gunsang Chime Wangmo, and Tupten Bama Chinle, glorious good. Holy great Kambo Karma Bensra, may both needs spontaneously complete. Ridzin Jorme Tupten Jatso, please, may my practice come to completion. Now, filled with all these blessings, we make aspiration for this life, future bardo, and future lives. In this life, may I reverse craving for this world, trust in Vajra Guru as my eyes, practice all my Lama's instructions with strong resolve that never weakens. Lama's heartstream blessings be in me. All are from the first of Pure Land's fruits, God's mantras and true form the Dzogchen. With no work of do this, don't do that, Radiant Rigpa past thought or knowing, may I see reality nakedly. In rainbow space where thoughts are freed, may visions of bright orbs and Buddhas grow. Full Rigpa display resplendent lands, Buddha beyond mind quelled in the real. May I gain the stable vase you state. Should I not enter that great yoga, coarse body not freed into the sphere, then when life conditions fail may death dawn as clear light, my true form all pure. Bardo visions freed in resplendence, complete skill to set free and to soar, like a child freed in its mother's lap. If not freed in the primordial peak of paths, great secret, clear light sphere, true form face shining forth from within, then through five no practice Buddha paths, may I find five innate Tulku realms in the glowing lotus palace where rigs in ocean's leader Lord Dzogchen, honor secret teachings may I there take birth as his first child, then rise forth to meet the needs of endless beings. With grace waves from oceans of rigs in, by the truth beyond my basic space, may I free and fortunate bring forth threefold interrisings, and so be full ripe cleansed and attain Buddhahood. Light streams from the letter Om, sparkling like crystal between the eyebrows of the Guru. They enter through my crown, cleansing body actions and channels. Vajra body blessings flow, receiving the vase wang. I am creation phase vessel. Ripened Rigzin seed is sown, and the Tulku state becomes my future. And take a moment to take this initiation, the vase initiation. Moonbeams pouring forth from the Om between Guru's eyebrows, entering your crown, descending, clarifying, purifying, clearing away any residue of any negative physical actions in this life from beginningless time till now. Cleaning and clearing your channels, making you a vessel for creation phase. You are the ripened Rigzin. Your body is completely pure. Your mind will be further purified with the next initiation. Seated in now is your future as a Tulku and emanation Buddha. Present in your knowing now is the union of appearance and emptiness. You are vividly appearing, but you are empty of any substantiality. Feel into that. And now, light streams from the letter Ah, bright like a ruby in Guru's throat. These enter in my throat, cleansing my speech actions and wind blocks. Vajra's speech blessings flow. Receiving this secret wong, I am vessel for chance. Life strength rigs in seed is sown, and the rich form state becomes my future. At whatever pace is right for you, feel the red rays pouring down from Guru's throat, entering your throat. Rays that bring with them as they enter you comforting warmth. Healing. Clearing away any energies that need clearing, that support your speech. Speech is energy. The light flows through your entire body. Bringing you peace, purification, relaxation. It's blissful. It's yummy. It feels just right. And through these grace waves, your speech is cleansed. You are a vessel for chanting mantra, for your energies working with the stage of completion. You will become rigged in with power over life, power over the energies that support life. The seed is planted in you to be such. And your future as a bright form, rich form, Sambhogakaya Buddha, is now in process. And particular realization is the unity, clarity, and emptiness. The state of the rigged in with power over life is also the state equal to direct experience of reality, of emptiness, third of the five paths. Take a moment to spend a moment with whatever part of this resonates most with you. Don't forget that you are being suffused by this blissful, warm, calming, relaxing light from the throat of the Guru throughout your whole body. And now, light streams from the sky-colored letter Hum in Guru's heart. These enter in my heart, cleansing mind actions, bright orbs blocks, Vajra mind blessings flow. Receiving the wisdom wong, I am vessel for bliss emptied Chandali. Mudra rigged in seed is sown, and the true form state becomes my future. That blue light pouring from the Hum, Guru's heart, flows directly into your heart. It flows in with comforting warmth, sense of blissful ease. Openness, relaxation. Warmth, bliss, relaxation, openness. The blue light flows all through you, purifies your mind completely. From Guru's Vajra mind to your mind, flowing together. You become a vessel for the bliss-empty Sandali. The Sandali is the source of heat in the body. It's located where the do, the Tsulsum Dube do, at your navel chakra, where the channels all meet. So you become a vessel for all the practices that have to do with development of heat. You become a mudra or sign, Rigzin. That seed is sown in you. The state of being the path of meditation, the fourth of the fifth paths, where you are overcoming every possible obstruction to the afflictive obstructions. And your future is set of you rising in the future as a Dharmakaya, sheer form Buddha. And your special attainment here is the union of bliss and emptiness. Take that in for a moment. We have received the vase, the secret and wisdom initiations, as if from our own teacher, from Guru Rinpoche, from the entire blessed lineage that Jigme Lingpa represents. How does that feel? Body, speech, and mind are purified. Well, let's just sit with that for a minute. We'll close with dedications, and there are even more steps, even though we're already totally purified and have the future of arising as the three Buddha bodies. There's more. We'll sit with this for a moment, close with our dedication for now. I mean, what if Guru Rinpoche really is in front of you, sending light from the Om Ahom of his ground, throat, and heart? Can we receive that? What is it like to consider that? Okay, we'll come back to this after dinner and again tomorrow. And right now, let us simply do the Let's do the dedication prayers, starting with "By this good." We'll do the whole practice this evening. It's on page 80 of this, and I don't know where it is on yours. You see, you have prayers. There's 4-part prayer, dedication prayers, sharing the goodness of our practice. Who has it? What page is it on? 47. Thank you so much. Okay, let's just sing that. By this good may all complete masses of good and wisdom, so good and wise there arise, there to Buddha dimensions. By whatever virtues beings have, through their acts past, present, and future, all good may they in all ways on the pure grounds touch into the good. Just as Manjushri was realized, just as Kundu Sangpo was also, to become like them in every way, I share all the goodness that I have. By all Buddhas, past, present, future, supreme sharing has been greatly praised. So to all my own roots of virtue, I share for the sake of kindly deeds. Wherever I'm born in every life, may I find the excellent 7. Once born, meet the Dharma right away, and be free to practice correctly. May I please my excellent teachers, practicing the Dharma day and night.
Achieve
Its deep essence in that life, cross over the sea of samsara. Teach the holy Dharma everywhere, untiringly benefit others. With great waves of unbiased service, may we together find Buddhahood. Allahu. May it be so. Guru Rinpoche described himself, among other things, as eating dualism. He found it nourishing. He was nourished by eating dualism, dualistic thought. We will eat dinner and emulate him as best we can. And I understand there's a vegan restaurant. I don't know if those of you who went there want to go back. Any other recommendations? What's nearby here? We'll come back, everybody, and at 7 our time, 7 Central Time. Oh, you Europeans, you will be asleep, I think, but you can listen in the morning before you will be up before us. Hi. Okay, is that clear? Very good. Be blessed. Enjoy your dinner. We'll figure out where to go to eat. Oh, tomorrow, as we said, Ngondro will begin at 9. We encourage everybody to come. It's wonderful that you came already today. And we will ask you